Hey there, Build Show Network, Steve Basic Architect. I'm out here on a job site. We're doing a little project over here. That's the guest house for a former project that we did a few years back, which is over here. And today we're going to talk about the 3 basic means to a successful water management project. So when you look at this project, what do you see? Nice big roof overhang, right? A lot of people in the building science world say all windows leak. And my retort is only the windows that I let see get wet. So if we get back here and we walk up here and take a look laterally down there, you'll see that that overhang counts for about 25 inches from face of wall to face of fascia there. So we got a fair amount. We're not getting any water up here to challenge the head of the window. So that's rule number 1 of basic water management is get rid of the water, right? As fast as we can. Put a nice umbrella on the house. And in this case here, we have that beautiful dove gray standing seam metal roof running the length of that section of the house. The second part of a successful water management system is identifying the drainage plane. Now here we can't see it because the drainage plane is actually happening underneath the siding here. And when we get back to the studio and we go through the details, we'll talk about that a little bit more. But if you're wondering, it's basically zip R6 underneath a rain screen system. So that's our drainage plane, or the Alamo, if you will. That's where we stop the water and we manage it from that point out. The last part of a successful water management is the ability to drain and the ability to dry. In this case here, notice that we did what I term an open joint rain screen. So yes, you can look right inside and you can see it's basically an open joint right there, rain screen system. So what that does is it allows water, it allows water to get in, but it allows water to get out. It allows air to get in to help drain or help dry out that wall system. And so that was part of the design here. Let's jump back to the studio and we'll talk about these 3 key components to a successful water management system. Hey everybody, so hopefully you enjoyed that trip out there. You can see we're doing a new project over on the side there. We got the old project off to the left there. It's good to always go back and see what's going on with your projects, right? See if they're working out the way they were planned. See if things are happening the way they were supposed to happen. Always a treat to go back out. Always something to learn from going back out. Water management. You heard me say it. #1 killer of buildings. Got some great details here. Pulled them out of the drawing set. So let's dive in and let's not hold back. Let's talk about it. So let's have at it. We got Guess who's back. Got him out of his bed. And we got Big Red in action. So let's hit it. All right, everybody. So I grabbed a detail here, partial wall section. You can see here's the top plate, double top plate in this case. In this case here, we framed the walls with 2x8. But today we're not talking about insulation and wall thickness. We're talking about putting ourselves in a position for success in terms of water management and the control layer of that helps us manage the water. But like I said in the video, there's 3 basic understandings. You like that basic, huh? Of how to deal with water. 1, let's get rid of it. 2, let's stop it. 3, let's drain and dry it. All right, so those are our 3 successes. So like we talked about in the video, the first thing was the overhang, right? So notice here, we're at 2 feet there. So like I said in the video, we're probably in the neighborhood of 25 to 26 inches here of roof overhang. And at, you know, roughly 9 feet, that takes up maybe about 25%. So, you know, 4-to-1 ratio, it's pretty darn good. The header, if we had a window in here, it'd be down probably about 14 inches, which would put it somewhere in here, and we'd have our window. But the reason I want to talk about the window is, remember, all those building science people out there, they say all windows, what? Leak. Why do they leak? Because water is the #1 killer. I know I kind of preach this stuff every week, but you know what? Next week, guess what the #1 killer of buildings will be? You got it, water. In 3 weeks, guess what the #1 killer of building will be? You got it, water. In a month, guess what the #1 killer of buildings will be? Water. You see my point? All right, let's leave that alone now. But anyways, drawn in that window, what you can see is this is probably down somewhere in the, you know, I would say 12 to 14 inch range. So basically, if we do the X and Y, we're at about a 2 width to 1 height, X over Y, right? 2-to-1 ratio, which is good. I mean, that's what I would consider really good, because the chances of this window leaking there and getting water in to that area at a volume that is enough to create a problem there and actually be a killer, yeah, it's probably not happening, right? So that 2-to-1, you know, the ratio there, 1-to-1 is probably close to about a minimum that I would like to see. 2-to-1 certainly more favorable. Definitely not less than 0.5-to-1, right? So that's a 6-inch overhang with a 1-foot head height there. Still can handle keeping water out, but this 2-to-1, you know, that's a really good good number. So that helps us get rid of the water, right? So all that rain that falls down here, it comes down here and we get rid of it. It doesn't challenge our wall any, right? So my wall can't leak. My water can't be killing anything because I'm not letting it touch anything. But down at the bottom of the wall, we can get some wind-driven rain in here. So we have to deal with that. So we have to identify where we're stopping that water. And in the video, I called that the Alamo, right? Kind of the last stand. Where am I dealing with water? Where's the last place that water can go? And that's typically the WRB, or weather resistant barrier. In this case here, we did a zip sheathing on the wall. And you can see in the pictures there, the zip is the green stuff. And the green stuff is basically an integrated WRB onto the OSB. So it's what I would term an integrated weather resistive barrier. But that zip, when I tape those joints, and I put that piece of tape on those and flash it properly, that's where water stops, right? It doesn't go any further than that line. So nothing is getting in this area of my wall. Nothing. Nothing gets in there because that is the Alamo. But remember, because I have this nice big overhang, the Alamo doesn't have to work as hard, right? So to put it in military terms, if the more I shorten this, the more men or more strength I have to have for the battle with water, right? If this overhang was cut back to here, say, we did this really shallow, well, that puts this wall system really in a challenging position. So having that nice big overhang, it's like putting an umbrella on the house, right? Get rid of the water. Stop the water. And I know I'm talking slowly, but man, guess why? Guess what the number one killer of buildings is? You got it, water. A year from now, guess what the number one killer of buildings will be? You got it, water. All right, last thing, drain and dry it. You can see here, or maybe you can't, but we did that yellow cedar planking. Somewhere in here you can see there's a 3/16 inch dimension, and that is the spacing. So basically those planks are there, and we have that open joint, and then my zip is back here. So we have the freedom to dry with air, but we also have the ability to drain the water out. So, you know, when you're talking about putting yourself in a position for success and building a building that's going to last a very long time, we get rid of the water. We get rid of it. We put a nice big roof overhang on, right? Nice big roof overhang so that that water drips. Nothing gets on my wall. The stuff that does get on my wall, I stop it because I have the ability to identify where my drainage plane is. Where am I stopping? Where's my WRB? Where am I stopping that water? Where am I stopping that migration of moisture into my building? And then the last thing, the stuff that does challenge my building, am I draining it and am I drying it? And in the rain screen system, that's exactly what it's doing. So there you go. Learned a lot today. Guess what the number one killer of buildings is? You got it. Water. 3 steps to a successful water management system. Get rid of it. Stop the stuff that you can't get rid of, and then drain and dry it. Basically get rid of it again. Right? The easiest way to solve a problem is to eliminate the problem. So if water, the number one killer of buildings, I don't know if I mentioned that, but if water hits my building, the best thing I can do is get rid of it as fast as I can via the roof, via the rain screen, via the weather resistive barrier, all these things. We don't want water lingering. Water is not our friend. We don't like water. Water is the enemy. We don't want it around. We want to get rid of it as fast as we possibly can. So there you have it. Water Management 101, the 3 keys to success. You saw it here. Big Red made it happen. So onward and upward. All right. So that's a wrap. Water management success. 3 things to worry about. Boil it down to a couple things. Doesn't have to be this whole litany of events. 3 things to worry about. Get rid of the water, manage the water, and put a kibosh and stop the water. Those are the 3 things we worry about when we're dealing with water management. It's not, really isn't that hard, right? It's building science, not rocket science. So anyways, where you can find out more, find me on the Unbuilded podcast. I team up with my good buddies Jake and Peter. We talk about all this stuff every other week. We got a podcast coming out, so go check it out. You can find me on Instagram, Steve Basic Architect there, putting up information all the time as it relates to these projects and stuff that we do and explanations. You can ask me questions, all that good stuff. So have at it. Check it out. Check out Alexandra Bazek. It's my daughter. She works with me. She's learning a ton of stuff every day. So it's a joy to have her around. We got all my good friends, Build Show Network. All right, we've been up for over a year. That's literally hundreds of videos And if you believe the science and you have to watch them 7 times, we're probably talking over 1,000 views that you have ahead of you that you need to watch. So go check them out. We talk about everything. I try and mix mine up. You know, sometimes we're talking about straight up architecture, sometimes we're talking to detail, sometimes we're talking water management or a curved ceiling, or who knows what's on the docket, but it's there 7 times. It's the science. Check out all my good friends there, right? Matt, Jake, Wade, Brent, tearing it up. All of our new colleagues that joined, Drywall Shorty, Detmore, Design Build Doug, and Mechanical Hub. Yeah, go check them out. All good stuff. I watched a few of those new videos from those guys tearing it up. Tons of information there. So the beauty of it is it's all free, right? You don't have to pay for it. So anyways, go check it out. And until next time, long live our buildings.